So in that other video I did with my blinds in the kitchen for, I think that was the third reality Zigbee ones, of course we wanted more.
Cooling set to 81 degrees.
So I dug into two different companies. This is the Yoolax blinds here, and then I do have the Smartwings Home, I think is what they call this. Or we just call it Smartwings. I keep wanting to call it freaking Gold Wings for some reason. But that's a whole nother deal. Not picking on names. I can definitely pronounce these, I think, correctly. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything to you. Window treatment is freaking expensive. Even doing dumb window treatment, where you got to go pull the little string and turn the little thingy, right? Yeah, when you start to add up and put 10, 12 windows or whatever on it, it definitely adds quite a bit of cost to things. But definitely, this is something I wanted to do to upgrade things in my home. And there are some other cheaper options, especially on the DIY side. Yeah, if you know, if you've been in some areas, yeah, this definitely works cheap, but I don't know if that'll pass the significant other test. And so that leads me into like the why. Why did I want to do all these in these smart blinds? Well, number one, they are motorized and they are the Zigbee protocol. If you don't know what Zigbee is, basically there's no putting software on them or nothing like that. You just really take them out the box and pair them up with your home automation, such as like Home Assistant, Zigbee to MQTT, even the Amazon Alexa Echo, I think the number four, generation four or whatever, that supports Zigbee as well. And you just pair things up and rock and roll. There's no wiring to these at all. They do have some solar panel options, but they can be kind of picky, which I'll get to later, and you can see the hands-on things. But it does allow you to charge them automatically on a daily basis if you have enough sunlight. Now, what I had before was this big, chunky looking, nasty, I would call it like faux wood blinds. And yeah, this is what one of the problems is it's heavy. And yeah, for like my wife, when she's trying to pull on these little strings that, and everybody knows if you had them, they end up like this. No matter what you do, you look at it wrong, it's just like a freaking extension cord and it tangles itself up just by looking at it. And I guess now there's even some code stuff where you're not supposed to have them hang so long and everything. And so that was another thing I wanted to get rid of, even though OG doesn't hang from the blinds that much anymore. But trying to put these up and then trying to deal with cleaning them, and then you couldn't open them all the way. We just didn't open our windows that often. And now with these, look how clean this is. These I do mount inside the window, and meaning inside the window frame itself. So that way there's nothing on the outside, and they roll all the way up into themselves, and it's pretty damn clean. This is the Smartwings one. Will say off the bat, I do prefer this model because really, one feature I really love just because of the looks is this cassette that it may be hard to see on camera, but I'll show it definitely on some of the hands-on. Is it has the cassette here that they put it in the same material as the blind or the shade, whatever you want to call them. I'll probably call them wrong. Everybody's freaking out. You're calling them wrong. Well, this is the same material that they do in this little cassette, and it covers the little vinyl, roll up wheel that's in the inside. Now you can get them without that, but I think it's like around $20. I think it's well worth the look. Now on the Yoolax, they don't have that option. I wish they would. They just have this flat metal looking, and you can change the color of it. But at this time, you can't get any material on it. Now, I do say one thing I did like about the Yoolax one is it's the same material on both sides. Now, on the Smartwings one, it's not. It's going to be at least on these blackout ones I got, it's the white on the back and then the material on the front. And sorry if I'm making a lot of noise. Now, leading to material. Don't rush into ordering the blinds. Of course, if you want to even get into this stuff, I'll leave all the links down in the video description below. I'll put any coupon codes that might be there. It might save you a little bit of coin, especially if you're buying about 10 of these things. And I probably wouldn't only buy like 1 or 2 to start out just to see how you like them. Maybe like do 1 room, before you dive off into that big investment. Now, what I would recommend, because this was one of the struggles I dealt with whenever I was trying to order things, was what did the freaking material look like? Because I just wanted to go local, and I go to Lowe's, Home Depot, or whatever, and go look at some of the materials and then just order from there. Maybe even get my own motor or whatever. But then I started adding up the cost, and then they were using like proprietary stuff and everything, and I wanted to stick kind of with Zigbee. I think one of these does have HomeKit, but I don't do much of the HomeKit. I think it's a little bit more for the HomeKit. But I found these online, but then what do they look like? Because everybody's color is different, versus if you're looking at this on your phone or a tablet or a TV or a computer, it's all going to look different. And well, the cool thing about it, they have these little books, this little sample material book. Now, I went with the 100% blackout, but you can see they have all the different little color swatches that you could bring home to mama or whoever it may be and say, hey, which one do you like? Which one matches the paint in that room or whatever. Now they do have, I think they have some other percentages on the blackout. I wanted 100% blackout because, yeah, I want to sleep in on a Saturday morning. It's, you're definitely getting old and your clock is trying to make you want to stay up and actually get up early, I guess. And, I wanted the blackout to kind of confuse me on that Saturday morning because it feels damn good to sleep in on a Saturday morning. And it does just that. But that's where some of the cool things you can do with some of the automations on this, because it's, all local control. So, yeah, so like when I have the alarm set and we leaving the house, automatically closes all the blinds. Or, hey, my wife kept forgetting on those stupid other ones we had. She would leave the blinds open, and we lived kind of on a busy corner. You could see all throughout the house. I didn't really like that too much. Well, now I just have an automation that when it gets to a certain darkness outside, shoop, closes all the blinds and call it a day. Really awesome feature, and I really couldn't go back to the old school looking blinds. And now we open the windows a lot. And it's just amazing that we now have to clean our windows because we can see so much outside the home. And these do roll all the way up, as we said before, and they don't have those little slats in between. So pretty cool. It's pretty awesome on what, I don't know, I didn't really think it was going to be this big of a change for me on just doing some stupid window treatments, but it definitely has changed the way I do things and just in and out of the home and everything, and controlling the amount of light. Because one of the cool things I did like about also with the blackout was to close them when there's sun beating on the west side of the house, and that way I don't have that additional heating cost of all that sunlight blasting through the house in the summer months. But hey, I guess it might be a good thing in the winter months, so you can control and do your own thing. Be careful on ordering, double check, triple check, because yeah, some people do have problems. Check your measurements because you don't want to screw those up. Now this is USB-C, which is cool. They do have 2 little wires, and you can tuck that back behind the thing when you hang it up there, so it's not really noticeable. I'm assuming one of them's for the remote, and then one of them is this is the Zigbee model, so you can tie it in to do all your smart home automations. You do get the cool little remote, and then I like that they have the little thing that, you don't have to have it always on, so it doesn't wear down your batteries. And I really like this right here. AAA batteries. Simple AAAs. You don't have to go hunt down some special coin sale or whatever. It's just gonna work. There, you got the little light up top right here. And then you can change the channel, or you can also do all at one time, which is pretty cool. So this one is just a 5-channel remote. So then this should be the mounting hardware. The mounting hardware is pretty simple. I've just mounted these. I didn't use their little screws. I don't really like Phillips screws. I like the Torx stuff. It's just so much easier to deal with, especially when you're trying to drill up or run a screw up. You're not having to deal with Phillips. I use just some decent little Torx from the hardware store. And these just mount on these are the inside mount style. So these just mount through here, up under, and then there's a little spring-loaded deal and it pops in. So that just spring loads into there like that. And it does give a pretty tight click in. So it's not going to flex due to the torque of the motor or whatnot. I really do like the build quality of these Smartwing blinds over some others that I've seen. The solar panel comes with a white cord, so you're not having a black cord sticking out. There's no adapter to it. It's just USB-C. Just like here, plug it in and go. They have a little 3M strip so you can stick it on the window. And what I like to do is I change the upper limit of the shade itself. I put it a little lower than this, and that way you put this top of the window and the shade doesn't go all the way up, but it still looks decent. And then you'll hide that solar panel behind there. And I guess it flips the other way. That way you're catching the sunlight. Now, if you have a bunch of shade in an area and you don't get direct sunlight to the solar panel, probably don't opt to get the solar panel. These are kind of expensive, for what they are. But yeah, just get you a USB battery pack and charge them up every, 4 or 5 months or whatever it may be. So they do have in the book, definitely one to hang on to is this remote programming guide, because they have all the stuff in here for setting all the different limits and the groups and everything with the remote, your favorite positions, etc. And because you're never going to remember to do some of these, and good little reference to refer back to. They have some other ones like the Amazon programming guide and stuff that's really just, kind of pair that up if you're doing the Amazon thing. So I do have this paired up. I want to see if I can show. Just to show that little slow down, what I was talking about when it goes up. And there it is. And one thing I didn't like was they did this. This is USB-C, and then you do this converter to micro USB, and that's the other USB that we don't like that much. It's almost they should have done a white wire, and or maybe even put a 90, or even better yet, this feels like it's kind of tacked on. Like, why didn't they put the button here and then the plug back here, and it could have been easier to hide? So, but then they do give you a longer wire with, this is what this coupling is. You can even get some much longer ones than this. They have them in the box. I guess if you've got a really big window and a place to put the solar panel. But I just kind of tucked it up here for the time being and set the upper limit so you really don't see the solar panel at the top. So I do have them added to Zigbee to MQTT. And that brings them into Home Assistant, just, my Zigbee network. I did try to add them to that Alexa 4th gen. The control is weird. If you try to say open or close the kitchen blinds.
Kitchen blinds doesn't support that.
And then it's like you have to tell it a number. It's kind of dumb, but I guess that's maybe a limitation of the speaker because I had that issue on both brand of the blinds. Google, close the bedroom blinds. The exposes stuff, you get the position, the battery, and the link quality. The only thing wish we could do, it's not there yet, is invert the commands. You can invert the cover state. I haven't had to do that, but I wish we could invert the commands, and that would fix those two blinds. I have issues with the commands being backwards. And I did talk to another user that had the same issue. He also had the same issue in ZHA. So apparently it's something with the blinds themselves. And that's those Smartwings one that I'm speaking of that had those reverse commands. And the easy way I worked around those was just telling it to go to 1% or 99% instead of open or close, and it's fine. But for the automations wise, it works great. So that question that's not the fun one. What's this going to cost? I did compare both the Smartwings and the Yoolax or whatever you want to call it. Now, there's different prices, so I'll just go ahead and get the disclaimer of everything's going to be different because, prices are in such a flux at this time. And I did even find different prices versus on their website versus Amazon. This was Amazon US. They do ship worldwide. Looks like Smartwings at least does. And maybe the other one does. I don't see it. That's on the top of their screen. But yeah, and I said, let me price it on Amazon. I did notice they had some coupons there. So I tried to build the same window, blind deal and the same deal as well. And I wasn't going to use any type. I just used free shipping. This is without tax. So these are going to be exactly the same pretty much because of shipping, I believe. Yeah, they're both free shipping. So the Smartwings one was $215. There was a $30 discount on Amazon. Hey, go there, Hey, that's affiliate link too. So you can help out the OG on his upcoming jet ride, right? Yeah, if you hadn't seen the helicopter one, check that out. The Yoolax one was $244. Pretty close. So, yeah, do your shopping. Find out which one's cheaper. Should you buy them? Absolutely. Is it going to burn a hole in your pocket and put a big dent in your wallet? Absolutely it will. I'm not going to sugarcoat that at all. But, hey, would I really do this again and put up a bunch of smart blinds and everything? Absolutely. And I do have a couple more windows I do want to get some more for because I want them all to be done. So which one would I buy if I do it again? Well, that's definitely, I will say I have to lean towards at this time that Smartwings one. Even though it did have that issue with those reversed open and close commands, but I feel that can be worked around in software. The remote was, like I said, remote was a little better because the LCD wasn't on all the time. The setup on the remote, so if you want to set the bottom stop point and the top stop point on the Smartwings one, I did find that a little bit easier on their remote, but you don't have to do that all the time. So then cost-wise, well, that's Smartwings at that time is also going to play there as well, especially if you're buying several of them. But of course, prices could always change. So do shop both of them and see which one you like, but definitely order the swatches of the colors. I'd hate to see anybody make the mistake on getting the wrong color or also giving the wrong measurement. So double and triple check those measurements before you buy them.
75%.
Is that popsicle good, bro?
It's a Jolly Rancher one.
You watching my videos? Or are they our videos?
Our videos.